Welcome everyone to the news episode of Syde Effect, our podcast around WordPress and everything around enterprise web solutions. Actually, it's one of our pretty new episodes here, and I'm really happy to have a special guest with me. Actually, the first guest ever. So, it's up to you, Dustin. But maybe a few words about you before we start. I'm Ronnie Marks, by the way. I'm the commercial director of Syde. Syde is the biggest WordPress agency in Europe. And also a big fan of WooCommerce, of course. And that's why we invited Dustin. I'm pretty happy that you're here. I'm really excited that you found the time. I guess you're a pretty busy man. Even more so, I'm excited that you're here. And by the way, you were the customer success manager at WooCommerce for a long time, for several years. And this is pretty cool. I really want to talk about this here today. You have been a happiness engineer at Automatic for 7 years. And you are and have been a very long time contributor to the WordPress community, right? So 15 years, that's what I heard about that. I'm pretty new in this kind of community, started at Syde beginning of this year. So it's pretty new for me to adopt the community style and everything's going around. So I can learn a lot of from you as well. But before we start, Dustin, please explain to me and our audience what a happiness engineer is and what the responsibilities are. Because, when I first read this, I really had to laugh because I imagine the situation when my mom asks me, you're a pretty busy guy. What are you doing for a living, right? And I say, I'm a happiness engineer. It would automatically cause some smiling. So again, Dustin, nice that you're here and that you found the time as a happiness engineer. What is that? Can you please explain that?
Yeah, absolutely. And happiness engineer title kind of goes back all the way when Automatic started. It's generally our name for customer support. And that is the people behind the scenes doing the tickets, answering live chats and whatnot. And that's how I got my start inside of Automatic. So Automatic is the parent company of WooCommerce. And I started way back in 2013. I started my WordPress journey in 2010, or actually 2009, 2010. I launched a podcast talking about WordPress things because I thought it could drum up some business. I was a freelancer for 3 years. And then I joined the Automatic team as a happiness engineer. And that's kind of the methodology behind the name, and it's kind of like a fun name. As you said, you kind of smile when you're talking about what a happiness engineer is. And inside of Automatic, we had a lot of autonomy to do what we could make, what kind of decisions could we make at a personal level to make someone successful or happy or whatnot. And that comes to, maybe they're 10 days over the refund period. And we just say, okay, this is a one-time thing. We'll just go ahead and do that. Or maybe we would comp something, or maybe we'd go a little bit outside of scope just because we had that feeling or that desire to just really, truly help. And so that's where I got my start. I started, like I said, in December of 2013, was a happiness engineer on WordPress.com for a couple years, and then Automatic purchased WooCommerce, and that was kind of my foray into the e-commerce space. And I started as a happiness engineer there in 2015, and then my path inside the company is diverted and changed just a little bit. And I've actually only been in customer success for a year, but I've done probably 50,000 customer success or customer support tickets and live chats and things like that. So I have a wide working array of knowledge when it comes to WooCommerce.
That's what I say when I hear you talking about that. I mean, it's a long time working in that community. I guess there's nothing what you've never seen here. So everything about WordPress should be very common to you. I mean, you talked about this WooCommerce. WooCommerce is pretty well known in the US, definitely, also across other countries as well. I mean, I'm coming from the e-commerce area here in Germany, right? And WooCommerce, definitely, it is a thing, but it's maybe not so well known like in the US. So if I would ask you, Dustin, we meet each other in a typical elevator situation, and please explain to me in maybe 30 seconds what WooCommerce is and what WooCommerce is capable of.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to do this a lot because people ask me what I do for work. And it's
I can imagine that. Yeah.
I help people with websites. It's usually as high level as I get. But in general, WooCommerce is a plugin or an extension, you could call it, or maybe an app. There's different names, but in the WordPress ecosphere, plugin is the typical naming convention, but it is a free open source plugin that could be added to a WordPress site to unlock the potential of doing an online store. It was kind of made with the mindset of like somebody at home wants to sell a widget, maybe a book, maybe some sort of trinket that they developed, or a woodworking thing, or like some sort of art, and then being able to post those things online, take payments online, get shipping information, and then send out the merchandise. It's kind of how it was thought through. And I think that WooCommerce, I'm not exactly sure when it started. It was well before the 2015 time when it came into, kind of my life. I really enjoy WordPress. And when people say like, oh, let's do e-commerce, I'm like, this doesn't even sound fun. But now like I'm all in. I love helping customers and merchants learn and like grow their e-commerce site, because that seems like it's a really good fit, because like if we help them grow, they're happy. They're more likely to continue to use WooCommerce. They're more likely to recommend WooCommerce to their friends or family or things like that. But yeah, it's kind of like it's a plugin that you install, and it's very basic in its functionality. So like it does have the ability to add products and shipping and tax and some details. But essentially, that's just kind of the framework of the e-commerce platform. Where it comes in really powerful is now there are extensions on top of WordPress, or additional plugins that you can do to use your favorite payment processor, or use your favorite shipping option, or like to do some automations to when this happens, then do this, those types of things. So it's a super powerful platform. It can handle hundreds of thousands of orders per month. We can do hundreds of orders per minute, even at some of our highest enterprise level scale. And so while we don't advertise all of these things like as an open source platform, like you're not going to see a billboard inside of a train station talking about WooCommerce, but it is one of the most popular e-commerce platforms. Plus it's running on the most popular CMS that's out there in WordPress.
That was quite a long elevator ride, to be honest.
We were going all the way up to the 100th floor.
Yeah, maybe a couple of times up and down. But yeah, I really can feel your excitement when it comes to talking about WordPress and WooCommerce. And I'm really happy that you mentioned that, Dustin. Like, as I entered the WooCommerce, or let's say the WordPress area, before that, I thought, okay, WordPress, definitely well known. It's like a common system, common convention system for websites. But for bigger, scalable web enterprise solutions, there are other systems, other platforms in place which might be better. Now, working in that kind of an environment, I know better. But you mentioned that, right? So WooCommerce, it's a platform. It's like not really a plugin. You install this like a plugin, but in the end, it's a tremendously nice platform for solving e-commerce solutions. And you said it. It's scalable, and it's could handle like really, really high stake of orders per minute, per hour, whatsoever. What is the biggest, by the way, the biggest e-commerce client you ever saw? Like when it comes to the amount of orders per second, per minute, what's that?
Oh man, I don't know what the most is. Like we're working with a couple to scale up to like 500 orders per minute. Which is a pretty big deal. I've worked with an agency who had a case study of like launching some sort of, I think it was like a craft beer or a craft, like some sort of, I forget, even whiskey or something like that, where there was 5,000 items, like they could sell 5,000 items, and there were 6,000 people on the store at the same time, all trying to submit, and they sold exactly the 5,000 in the first minute, and everybody else was, got the out of stock warning. So there's results like that. We were at WordCamp US a couple weeks ago, and one of our bowling customers, if you will, like he was out there saying that, hey, we just had a flash sale on bowling balls. We sold $120,000 worth of product in the last hour, and it's just like, whoa, okay, like so. Things like that are just like the mind blowing, right? But you could get to the point where you have lots of volume going through. So lots of micro transactions, hundreds of orders that are $10 to $15, or you could have, those days where it's like, okay, we sold 10 $20,000 machines of some kind, and the volumes are there. So yeah, there's lots of different ways. We have a customer that does subscriptions and has like thousands of subscribers, and then has to make those renewals at the beginning of every month, like I'll go through there, and there's 20,000 renewal orders that have to happen and then get pushed out. And so we've seen some really cool things from scale, and it's awesome what WooCommerce can do as a platform.
Definitely. And also you mentioned, and to be honest, not so happy about it that you don't advertise it. I mean, you just when I hear listening to you, right? So like you're excited, and definitely WooCommerce is a nice platform. It's a great platform actually, but there is no advertising around it, right? Hopefully, we can change this in the future to just make WooCommerce more present also in the German-speaking area in Europe as well. Is there a reason why you don't advertise? I mean, you could profit from this, right?
Yeah, for sure. So like our customer success team falls into our WooCommerce marketing team. And so I
Yes.
have a little inside behind the scenes, but like the number of dollars that we're spending. So we are spending, we are targeting, target folks, in, paid search and, different things. But the
Yeah.
real problem is that our budget is like this compared to Shopify, whose budget is
Yeah.
$1 billion a year. So like that
Wow.
is, like it's remarkable what they're doing. They're doing like cold outreach to like just poach people who are using WooCommerce. I even got a letter in the mail from Shopify from one of my wife's sites that is not even like a real site. It's just like a WooCommerce hidden store that she can sell some products at a local doctor's office, like not even a real site. And they're like, hey, we want to, we'll help you migrate and we'll help you move. And so that's kind of like what we're battling. We're battling like this open source, like do anything that you want, create the exact experience that you want versus like somebody actively reaching out saying, oh, ours is better. Come to see us. We'll migrate for free. We'll do this. So we've got a big challenge on our hands and we're working with some big customers. We're trying to like really dive in, learn the platform, like what type of pain points. And I say this a lot, and this is super great for anyone who's thinking about e-commerce. Like e-commerce and your website is like the smallest fraction of your business, right? You're a store owner, you want to set up a shop. Hey, we can get you onto WooCommerce very inexpensively, or it can have the features that you want. You can get everything done. But then you have to think about like you're selling this widget. Now it's got to be sent out to some warehouse somewhere, some sort of ERP to keep track of all your inventory and your data. You have to get the shipping information right. You've got customer support coming in because people got damaged orders or things like that. I mean, there are thousands of things that go on in a business. And, like WooCommerce helps in the way that we can connect to the systems you already have in place. We don't offer, like, there's not a lot of extra costs to, do connections and integrations and things like that. So, kind of a long-winded answer here about the different things, but like, I love seeing small businesses and businesses continue to grow and succeed with using WooCommerce. And I think that's what's really exciting. And hopefully someday you'll start seeing, probably now that we're talking, your phone's listening, and then you'll start to see some WooCommerce ads, but you will probably still see the Shopify ones, even though, we're very pro WooCommerce and WordPress, but they just have a huge budget, and that's what they're banking on.
Yeah, definitely. Again, really can feel the excitement around WooCommerce from you. Just the spirit from your directions. It's really great. And to be honest, you just also mentioned one crucial point here. When a business grows, right? So like you can get started pretty easily with Shopify, for example. It's a bit more set up things you have to consider when starting WooCommerce. It's more technical. You have to do these kind of things. But in the end, when your business grows, the vendor login you have with Shopify and other platforms as well is there, right? So you can really feel the costs also are kind of increasing a lot. And this could be and will be a big challenge when your business grows. With WooCommerce, you have a platform; it's free. It's up to you how to scale it, right? So this is one of what I see the biggest challenges for scaling businesses in e-commerce. And talking about challenges, Dustin, you are a very, very well experienced guy when it comes to e-commerce, when it comes to WooCommerce. You've seen like a lot of businesses, and as you said, talk to a lot of clients. When you just have a bird perspective on it. So let's say when you zoom out, what is the biggest challenges e-commerce merchants, not only WooCommerce merchants or WooCommerce business owners, e-commerce business owners face these days? What would you say?
Yeah, I think, and we've been discovering this over maybe the last 6 months or so, but like WooCommerce gets grouped into the bucket of like the performance of WooCommerce. People just think it's a problem with WooCommerce when there's actually more behind the scenes, right? Somebody can come to us, they're doing $10 million a year. Oh, my site is slow. I can't do this. Like WooCommerce is the problem. Shopify's over here saying that we're the fastest and we're the greatest, but that's not really like the right answer, right? You're not comparing apples to apples. Like you're comparing a $10 web host per month to, a $2,300 a month Shopify. And so we get a lot of misconceptions. And this is part of our, like, what we've been doing is we've been partnering with agencies. We're trying to explain like you almost need like, so even though WooCommerce is really easy to set up, people can get started, they click a few buttons, they sign up for a hosting plan and stuff like that. Like there's no real education, and we're trying to work on how do we say that, hey, for, you're spending, say for example, you're on the base level plan somewhere, $50 a month, and you're having performance issues or the site feels slow or whatnot. Like there's optimizations that can be done within WordPress, within WooCommerce. I think a lot of knowledge that needs to still happen with plugins, just core plugins for WooCommerce or for WordPress itself. Like we've been doing some audits recently, and some of the main plugins that you would install for a site, a contact form, say for example. Now I'm not calling out any contact forms. This is just an example, but like a contact form could be loading like their CSS, their PHP, like their JavaScript on every page load, even though it might be a product page and there's no contact form. So there's a lot of like education, I think, that still needs to go into the WordPress space. Like we're able to, you can write, if you're working with an agency or something like that, they can defer those loadings or like not load them at all on product pages or cart or shopping, pages to make those pages feel faster. But I think the biggest misconception is Woo is slow. Really comes down to either like, hey, we've hacked together this site for the last 10 years and there's all kinds of like database bloat that's not needed and there's all kinds of stuff in there, or we're not really paying anything for hosting and we just feel like, oh, okay, we got a lot of trouble here, let's just move. Well, the cost of moving is like exponential, right? Like it costs a lot to do it. You got to change all your systems, you got to make sure all your integrations work. Other platforms restrict you in certain ways where you have to up to the next tier, whereas WordPress and WooCommerce, it's like just pay for what you need. And like if you need subscriptions, you just add the subscription plugin. Like you don't have to get to the next tier that unlocks subscriptions. We don't take any like fees. We call them success fees. Like we're not going to take more money from you because you are successful, right? Like that's not, that's not genuine business. Like that. I mean, that helps, that would make us want to help you grow, but still like, that's not what our goal is. Our goal is to see you succeed, but not get, what's the word I'm looking for? We don't want you drowned in the fees. There's all the time, there's fees for this and fees for this and these connectors and this and that and the other thing. There's already enough fees that you're paying as a business owner. Like we're trying to like make sure that you can have the best solution at the lowest price. But again, like that lowest price makes a world of difference, and the great thing about WooCommerce is you can start your store. And it's, you start on base level hosting, you get really started, and then all of a sudden you're featured on Shark Tank or you're featured somewhere and you're going to get a lot of traffic. Like, hey, we can help you scale that up, or like get a hosting plan that's going to be able to handle, 50,000 people viewing it per minute. And you don't have to migrate to another place and you don't have to do that. So lots of answers there. But I think the biggest misconception is that Woo gets lumped into it's not performant when it really is. But it's just based on a few other background things, mainly hosting.
It is. And also I can quote our CEO here. When it comes to scalability from about WooCommerce, for example, you can scale it definitely, but you don't know what you do there, right? So for example, when you say WordPress isn't secure, it's the same thing. Everyone can deal with WordPress. This is a big advantage, but also a big obstacle here, right? Because you can do everything with WordPress. It's just a platform. Same thing goes for WooCommerce. It's just a platform. You really have to know what you're doing there. Also, when it comes to hosting, security, accessibility, all these kind of things, which are important these days, right? Mm-hmm. Actually, one of my last questions in your direction. I want to talk about the last minutes about a big elephant in the room, and when it comes to marketing things, this elephant is always there with two letters, AI. When it comes to AI, and also let's zoom a bit even more out of the picture here. When it comes to AI and e-commerce, what you say, what's the future and the future challenges for e-commerce merchants? Do we all shop on ChatGPT in 5 years? We don't need a WooCommerce or Shopify shop? Or do you think it's a different story? What do you think, Dustin?
Yeah, and I think this can go two different ways, right? Like, I don't know what shopping is going to look like in the future, right? Are you going to ask ChatGPT, can we somehow, instead of like sending our posts or our products and stuff to Google and to Facebook, do we send them to some cloud thing and they're the ones that are serving up all of our details? I'm not exactly sure what that will look like. But where I'm really excited about AI and WordPress and the open source platform is AI is really good at like creating WordPress let's say templates maybe for you. So we've got a couple people that, on our team, we have solution architects, and we have one guy who's just all in on AI, and he's teaching some of our customers how to do different things. So he's helped somebody that's using the Flatsum theme generate a page template in Flatsum so that they could, advertise these certain products for like a Father's Day or a Labor Day promotion, which was kind of a cool thing. I've used it in comparison with, just like the lovable.dev and some of those other like build a WordPress or build a website page and say, hey, build this in blocks. Let's customize it with CSS and let's do that. And so like, the great part is like it's semantically correct. Like it knows all of WordPress, right? It knows all the information, and it can help you design and create things that are not going to break in the editor when you try to edit and things like that. So I think AI is huge when it comes to open source. Like I don't think that you'd be able to say like to Shopify, say for example, if your site is on Shopify, like build me a page on my site that has this information in it, and I want to add this custom app or whatnot. Whereas with WordPress, like it would be able to do that. It'd be able to troubleshoot. Like if you get error logs, you can put error logs into AI and you can ask like, hey, what's causing this? Or how's come my JavaScript isn't loading on this page? And it can analyze and it can fix those things. So where I don't know, like where shopping is going to go with the AI thing, like I think we can be more quick, like we can add more features more quickly to our sites with AI.
Well, that's a comprehensive answer, yeah, but it's the same thing, I think. I mean, in the end, we don't know what the future will bring, but AI is just it's so dynamic these days. So it's really hard to tell. But it won't go away, right? It will stay. It will stay.
It will stay, yes. And I have a customer who sells pocket doors, so like the sliding doors that go inside of a wall.
Yeah.
And it's a US-based store, and he asked in ChatGPT like all the time, "Hey, where can I buy a pocket door in Ohio, say for example?" And they're like, "Oh, you can get it at the big box stores, Home Depot and Lowe's." And he's like, "Well, how about this place?" And he names his website, and then like the AI will crawl it and be like, "Oh yeah, this is a really good place. Like you could buy a site, you could build a pocket door from there." So he's like, "Is it helping anything? I don't know." But he's like, he does this on a weekly basis just to kind of figure out like what is it recommending and how. And I don't think anybody really knows what the future is and how to like push your information into the AI tools. But I'm sure that we've got people working on that and trying to understand those models and understand like how it would work or how we could get WooCommerce products into quote unquote the AI.
That's so funny and also really interesting. Dustin, I could even like talk more with you about all these things because I can definitely learn a lot from you and also our audiences and of course, hopefully also all your customers, your clients you're dealing with. But actually, we also reach the end of this session here. Again, I'm so glad that you found the time to join us today because you're busy. I can really feel that you're busy and you're excited about what you do. So I don't want to waste any much more time of you. Just keep you away from your happy customers as a happy this engineer back in your days. But again, thank you so much that you have been on this ride with us at Syde Effect and that you found the time to join us here. Hopefully, we can speak to each other in the future again, maybe in a later episode. Let's see. But to our audience here, hopefully you liked what you heard so far, because this was our first official guest. So that's really an honor for us, Dustin, that we had you here. And if you like what you hear, we will definitely produce a lot more of these kind of episodes. So please subscribe if you want to hear more from us. And I'm happy to be your guest in the future. Maybe some colleagues of me will join as well. Let's see. Dustin, thank you so much again and stay safe.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And again, if you need me in the future, you have more questions about WooCommerce, like I'm the guy.
We will call you.